Here we are at our chapter 1, target 4, problem 8a. We're asked to find the following flying distance from the hospital to the art museum. And just looking at this, we do notice that our hospital happens to reside right here at the x value being -6 and our y value being -4. So again, for the hospital, it is located at our point -6, -4. The art museum, on the other hand, is located right over here for a point of 6 for the x value and then 1 for our y. Now, again, we're trying to figure out what is the flying distance between those two. So we're not doing like we were with 7a. We're trying to figure out what is this flying distance. So imagine if you had a helicopter and you were flying straight to there. Well, in finding the flying distance, what we can use is our distance formula. And our distance formula pretty much just says that we have our d is equal to the square root of our x2 minus x1 squared plus our y2 minus y1 being squared. At this point, now we have to go ahead and then label an x1 and a y1 and an x2 and a y2. So we'll go ahead and just say that this is going to be our x1, y1, and that this will be our x2, y2. So then our distance is equal to the square root of our x2, here he is, 6. By the equation, we're going to subtract. And then our x1 comes in, and we notice that our x1, it happens to be -6. Close that parenthesis, square it, plus our y2, here he is, 1. By the equation, we have to subtract from the formula, and then our y1 being -4. Closing the parenthesis and squaring it. So again, we've talked about this from class, but just because the formula has that negative, and if perhaps our x and y happen to be negative, the formula does not take care of that negative that is represented from our x and y. Okay, so they are two separate negatives. Okay, it's important to keep in mind because that could dramatically change an answer then. Simplifying this down, we end up with the square root of 6. Really, if you're subtracting this negative, we would be ultimately adding those two guys together. So we end up with 6 plus 6, which is 12. And that 12 is being squared. Plus, this same thing is going to happen here. Really, we have 1 minus a -4. We are subtracting a negative, so ultimately we would be adding those two together. And end up with 1 plus 4, which gives us then 5. And that is also being squared. Then our distance is equal to the square root of 12 squared gives us 144, plus 5 squared gives us 25. Combining these two together, we end up then with d is equal to the square root of 169. And then lastly, we just have to take the square root of 169. So this distance comes out to be 13. So this distance, this flying distance specifically, comes out to be 13 then. Again, though, that is our chapter 1, target 4, problem 8a.